Hello everyone. Today I'm making this video about the George Floyd incidents that have happened recently. I just want to make a disclaimer that if you're feeling discouraged or saddened by these incidents, especially if you're a person of color, that this video maybe isn't for you. And I just wanted to share that I respect that, and it's okay if you scroll past this because I can imagine that it's really emotional and hard to watch. This video and other ways of covering this issue are important to listen to because Black people have a long history of suffering in our country. The way that they try and survive in our country is by being calm, being complacent, being polite, not making sudden movements. This is not the response that needs to happen. What needs to happen is at our political level and at our educational level. Police stations need to have policies in place and trainings in place that will reduce the unjust actions of police officers. They need to not hire or they need to fire police officers that are not upholding these policies, like Derek Chauvin. If like this do happen, and they will, then action needs to be taken right off the bat, not when it's reported on in the media, not when the violent video is released, right away. Even when people of color do act calm, are polite, they're not safe. There are racist people in power right now, and that results in loss of lives of people of color. And that's not okay. There need to be more responses like from the president of the University of Minnesota, who is cutting ties with the police department that Derek Chauvin was employed at. He knows that not all of his students are safe with the presence of police on campus. To really understand this issue, we need to talk about racial disparity in crime in the United States. Think about if George Floyd was white, would this have really happened? The answer is no. You can't add a qualifier, you can't say maybe, you can't say probably, it just wouldn't have happened. If it was a white person being arrested, they wouldn't have died. That's just the truth. Racial profiling refers to the discriminatory actions of people in power, such as police officers, against a person based on their race, ethnicity, religion, gender, sexuality, or other minority identity. Criminal profiling, generally practiced by police, is the reliance on a group of characteristics they believe to be associated with the crime, regardless of whether the person did the crime or not. Examples of racial profiling could be the use of race to determine which pedestrians are stopped for searching of illegal contraband, whether they have it or not. A 2017 study of 4.5 million traffic violations in 100 North Carolina police precincts showed that Latinos and Blacks were more likely to be stopped than whites. The Justice Department also found that the racial discrepancy for speeding tickets increased when it was the officer's word versus objective evidence that they were speeding. Black people facing similar low-level charges as white people are 68% less likely to have those charges dismissed in a court. Murders of white people are more likely to be solved than murders of Black people. Thinking about these statistics show the injustice in our criminal system and the inequities based on your skin color. As a result of the George Floyd murder, there have been protests. A lot of people are peacefully protesting, and that's great, and that is one way you can take part. However, if you feel unsafe to protest right now because of the coronavirus for whatever reason, there are other ways that you can get involved, and I'll be sharing those towards the end of this video. There are also a lot of violent protests right now. And while that wouldn't be the way I protest, I think that we need to understand why, and we need to have empathy. These people of color have been peacefully protesting for years, and no action or change comes from it. Even when they peacefully protest, they even get penalized or criticized for it. And that's not fair. I think that these people are tired. They're tired of having people lost in their community unjustly. It's not fair, they're hurt. So I understand why they're protesting the way they are. They've tried so many times to protest peacefully, and there's no change. So we need to be empathetic to that. One example I think of is Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick peacefully took a knee during the national anthem as a response to police brutality. He was brought on as the face of the Nike Just Do It campaign as part of their 30-year anniversary of Just Do It, and both Nike and him were criticized. They called Colin Kaepernick unpatriotic. The problem with this is that patriotism is racist. So why would Colin Kaepernick take part in a person's definition of patriotism that is racist towards him, especially in a country where he's unsafe? Any NFL teams that took a knee during the national anthem were fined for doing so. That's just an example of how Black people protested peacefully and they were still criticized for it. So what can white people do? A lot of people share on social media, myself included. I do think this is really important because oftentimes if someone has a personal connection with you and they're taking time to learn about the issue or they have a different viewpoint, they might be more responsive to someone that they know and love. Additionally, not everybody knows where to start or what are the trusted sites. If you're sharing things on your social media that are researched and accurate, then that lessens the impact of someone reading fake news and lessens the chance that they'll read fake news. So I do think posting on social media is very important, but it can't be the only thing that you do. You do need to take action on top of sharing because it is easy to share something. It really is. You can just click a button. One thing I think is really important is acknowledging that you grew up in the racist society and that you are in some way influenced by those ideas. This can be hard for some people to accept, but we need to accept it. Just because we grew up in a racist society or were influenced by racist ideas or heard them growing up doesn't mean that we're a bad person. But it really doesn't matter whether we were a bad person or not, because as a white person, we are benefiting from a racist society. We are the race that is most protected. We are the race that doesn't get discriminated against just by looking at us. So we benefit from that. So as a white person, we have the power to fight against racial inequity just by being white. And by doing so, we're still safe when we protest. We don't have to worry that we may be arrested or killed unjustly because of our skin. One thing you can do today is donate to organizations like the Minnesota Freedom Fund, Color of Change, or Fair Fight. I understand that many people are furloughed right now. I am too, but if you're not able to donate, then maybe you can share about these organizations online on your social media. Another thing you can do is sign petitions on change.org, specifically from the organization Move On is one I've seen that is good to look at petitions from. Another thing you can do today is talk to your politicians. Call your senators, call your mayors, anyone that's in a position of power that can make change in the laws and the policies that policemen have to follow. One thing I think is really important is getting in uncomfortable conversations. Black people have to be in uncomfortable conversations every single day. We as white people can separate from that anytime we want, which is why we need to have those conversations. If someone has a differing viewpoint than you, say something. If they're saying something racist or wrong or not understanding an issue and why it's important to act, say something. Not everyone is going to respond, not everyone is going to listen, not everyone is going to care, but you have to get in those uncomfortable conversations. You can also join groups like Standing Up for Racial Justice as an ally, or there may be other local groups that you know about that you could join. And please vote Donald Trump out of office. If you've seen his tweet, you know that Donald Trump is making people think racism is okay. There were always people that were racist. There are always people that are committing these violent acts. But now that we've elected a racist, sexist, rapist president, those people with those viewpoints are being validated. They are thinking that it's okay to be racist, okay to call Black people thugs, okay to do racist things and prohibit people of color from doing the things that they need to survive. They're making it dangerous for them in this country. And if Donald Trump stays in office, these things are still going to get even worse. So I encourage you to vote for Joe Biden in the upcoming election and to vote in your independent elections that are coming up around this time if you haven't voted already, please. And do your research on your politicians as well and see who's supporting people of color and people of minority communities that are experiencing inequity. This video is not just for George Floyd, but for all Black people that have lost their lives unjustly. Likely, unfortunately, there will be more incidents like these. So I'm trying to make this video so we can take some preventative action right now and every day. I encourage you to do something small every day or every week just to keep this fight going. Today, I'm going to write to a politician. That's my thing for today. And I challenge you to find something to do today, too. If there's a person of color in your life, make sure to check up on them. Situations like these must be very challenging and emotional for them. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that it helped you think of some ways that you can make some change today. I'll be putting all of my sources in the comments and lots of links of things that you can do, organizations you can join, actions you can take, ways you can donate, just to keep this cycle going. Please share this video if you thought it was helpful. Comment some ways below of things that you've been doing, because I'm really open to hearing lots of other ways that I can take action, and it will help other people as well. So if you like this video, make sure to like it and subscribe and share, and follow me on Nora Speaks at Instagram and Facebook, at Speaks Nora on Twitter, and also check out my blog link, which will be below. I talk a lot about privilege, especially white privilege, on my site and on social media as well. So I really hope this was helpful for you all, and stay safe and healthy. I really appreciate all you guys do. Keep the fight going.